My dear friend Guru Swamiji, Dr. Nimu Vasant, and other members of this great organization, People's Movement for Good Governance. At the outset, I congratulate you for organizing this seminar at a very crucial juncture of history. I'm thankful to Dr. Nimu and other organizers for providing me this opportunity to speak on something which is very close to my heart: judicial will. Judicial will and process in electoral reforms. Judicial will is something very close to my heart, as I said. Electoral reforms, I am fortunate because I am sandwiched between two giants, both my big brothers, Deva Saham sir and Dr. Qureshi. I'm also a big fan of Sardar V.N. Singh, Rajinder Singh ji, our waterman, and Sunilam sir. So I feel very happy to be amongst you. Sorry I could not attend in person because I am in New York these days, but I always say I'm only a text away. So I requested Dr. Nimu that if I am permitted, I can send you a video recording of my thoughts. And here I am with you. When we talk of judicial will, I start with a real life incident to share with you my thoughts about judicial will. My mother used to tell me, and we all learned this from our teachers and professors, that there is a will, there is a way. But when there is no will, that means there is no way. So this incident which I share with you, I may be able to explain or share my thoughts better on judicial will. I was never a bright student. Lawyers normally don't make confession, but I am making this confession that I was never a bright student. But yes, I was very much interested in poetry, shairi, couplets, anecdotes, jokes, quotes, because what I understood in life is that what a philosopher tells you in few hours, the poet or a quote will tell you in few seconds, and it goes deep inside you. It becomes part of you, part of your constitution. So in my law studies, I read a poem by Lyndon Johnson. This poem is so close to my heart. It got relief to hundreds of poor prisoners. Lyndon Johnson said, and I quote, "I am not in jail because I have committed a serious offense. I am not in jail because I have been convicted. I am not in jail because I have not been granted bail. I am in jail only because I am poor." This poem so much impressed our judges that in 1976, Justice Krishna Iyer quoted this and released hundreds of poor prisoners from jail. This was judicial will, to use this poetry to help people, help poor persons. I used the same poem in the year 1995 before a very compassionate judge in Delhi High Court that time, Justice Vijayendra Jain. And he was so happy, so impressed with these 4 lines that he released 368 poor prisoners from jail those who were languishing in jail for petty offences. I again use this poem before Justice Dalveer Bhandari, another finest judge our country produced, who is nowadays judge in International Court of Justice. He was also so happy and impressed and released hundreds of poor prisoners from jail. This was judicial will. Now come. After a couple of years, I filed another petition and quoted same poem, recited same poem before a couple of judges, two judges bench of Delhi High Court. And both of them were not impressed. They said, what is this? Do you have power of attorney of these poor prisoners? No, we are not going to release. These pickpockets are worse than murderers. Imagine. I mean, if after a few years I was arguing this, surely I was more competent. Surely these judges were being cited. I was relying upon Justice Krishna Iyer and the judges of their father's age that they release people on this. But they were not impressed. They said, no, nothing doing. They did not release a single person on technicalities because there was no judicial will. Poor persons could not be helped because they were so arrogant. Their upbringing was so poor, I say, that they had no compassion at all. So judicial will comes from compassion. Divine justice, as our Justice Lahoti in 2005, he said this divine justice is a mystic power. The divine justice, the justice will to do justice, you are talking of judicial will come from good upbringing, good character, strong character. And when there is no will, today unfortunately there is no will. You see all these cases first come to the electoral reforms only. Electoral bond case, this is a fit case. I mean, people are paying thousands of crores without the country knowing who is paying, who is getting benefit of paying this. It's a clear-cut case of Prevention of Corruption Act. Bribe is being paid through check, through banking channels, thousands of crores. And those people paying bribe are getting benefits from people. The will is not to respect the will of people. Will is to respect the dictate of a dictator. So how would justice happen? There is no judicial will. Pegasus case, you know. Rafael, you know. No will. Farmers case, 1 year, they were aware that this law the center could not make, parliament could not enact, but they did not pass any order. 1 year, our farmers were on roads because that compassion, that strength, that will to do justice is not there. Wrestlers, women wrestlers who brought laurels to country, but a criminal MP was not booked, was not taken to task because there was no judicial will. Maharashtra case, the court says that it was illegal, but still they say since the chief minister has resigned, we cannot do anything. Why you cannot do anything? Because there is no judicial will. There is no judicial strength. It was a fit case where you can say operation successful, patient dead. I am very clear on this. And my mother taught me long back, beta, you are to follow the truth and speak truth. Although I know, हिम्मत से सच कहो तो बुरा मानते हैं लोग, रो रो के बात कहने की आदत नहीं मुझे. I cannot tell a lie. I take my stand. Another example of judicial will. I'm happy. I have been discussing with Devasayam sir and Qureshi sir. Qureshi sir has been part of that organization, Citizen Development Society, that unless you produce a good citizen, how do you produce good democracy? I have been studying democracy for many years. Recently, I was studying at Stanford, and all my professors, they agreed to my proposal, my thought that democracy is a dish and people are raw material. So, unless the raw material is good, how would democracy be good? So, I started research on that, developing citizenry for real freedom to billions suffering undignified life. That is what is the aim of CDS, of which Justice Qureshi is also, Dr. Qureshi is also part of it. I filed a petition. I studied this. I made a research. I share with you as 16-year-old boy when I was told that farmers are committing suicide. Somebody recited this couplet, जिस खेत से दहका को मयस्सर ना हो रोजी, उस खेत के हर खोशाए गंदुम को जला दो. So since that day, after 50 years also, I am affected why farmers are committing suicide. And the research said, Justice Venkat Chalaiya, I met him, he said, he gave this report in 99, imagine, he gave this report to the Prime Minister. 99, that 99% of the citizens are not even aware of fundamental duties. So how do you make nation? How do you create that judicial will, which cannot be put just by studying law? All judges, they have studied law, of course. But what is lacking is judicial will, which is to be imbibed by values. As Oscar Wilde said, nothing worth learning can be taught. These values can be imbibed. And the only way is to have good education. That is why I salute Dr. Nimu on this, that she is also doing great job for educating students, for training students. That is the only route to develop judicial will. But poor upbringing of many of these people cannot provide justice. I filed a petition. Imagine, I filed a petition in Supreme Court. Justice Thakur was the Chief Justice. The present Chief Justice of India, Dr. Chandrachud, was also part of that bench. I cited Kabir, Nanak, Buddha, Arvindo, Vivekananda, Einstein, Socrates, Justice Venkat Chalaiya, Justice Bhagwati, Justice Mishra, to say that all these people say the only route for justice is through education, good education, imbibe values. Lincoln, what is said to the master of his son, make him a good human being. And you would be shocked to know, I say it now on record, this present Chief Justice of India, his query was that is it statutory? Imagine. What a shame. What a shocking commentary of upbringing, bad upbringing. All these saints, philosophers you are rejecting, asking me, is it statutory? Is it statutory for me to respect Justice Qureshi and Devasayam, sir? I admire them because of their values. I feel much to learn from them. No law book said that you respect Qureshi Saab or Devasayam, sir. It comes from my upbringing, that they are doing good. I am to learn a lot. I should do whatever they do. So judicial will, frankly, cannot be developed. I know there is a time limitation. I only say that to the youth present here, there are a lot of YouTube links you can watch just by putting Ashok Arora. You can send me your comments, or if there is anything, I may be in New York, but I am always a text away. You can email me ashokarora2310@gmail.com. Thank you once again. I know the time limits. Thank you. All the best. Jai Hind.